Hi guys, welcome to Mala's Verse. Welcome if you're new here, welcome if you have been here before. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. So we have a change in setup. Let's see how this change in setup goes. And inspired from that is today's reading. How are you transforming? We have three piles to choose from. I will show the images for each corresponding pile on your screen, or it will show up on the screen now. Take a few deep breaths and breathe out through your mouth as you meditate on the images. You are more than welcome to choose one or more piles. I will see you in your reading. Bye bye. Hi guys, if you chose the first image, which is, as far as I remember, a tree which is like it has a really blue sky and it's against a mountain, I guess, or a hill. And the imagery was bringing this phrase into my mind, which is the last man standing or the last one standing. And that phrase in itself, the ideology in itself with, the last man standing, has helped you see that bright sunshine to receive the goodness of the sunlight. And it's very evident in your cards pile one, because the first two cards that we have, which are representing like what was the energy before this transformation, especially the energies you were focusing on, or were significant prominent energies that you have transformed or have worked on transforming. And for that we have failure and imagination. So these two cards. And failure says, I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. Imagination says, I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. What I am receiving from this is that you were like trapped in a loop of using your creative force, your creative energy, your creative thinking in resolving or having ease in relationships, which is great, but it was at the extent of your expense. It was at the expense of your well-being. And especially with the purple color, I feel like it exhausted you mentally, because look at the deck here, pile one, because these two cards are shades of purple and pink, and we have the last three cards also as purples and pinks, and the last card here is worry, beneath which is friendship. So I do perceive that this was around deep rooted friendships, really close friendships, like best friends energy, or even like siblings with whom you had really close friendship, and worrying about if the friendship is going in the right direction or not. And you spent a lot of energy, a lot of yeah, there's no alternative for energy. Your time and energy is the biggest resource, right? The one that is even more, I would say, valuable than money. And that's the only resource that stays with you forever, or like at least till the time you are on the planet. So in that sense, you were investing that big of a life source, a source of energy within you in these activities, extending it to people that probably were not valuing. Because let's just get on with the reading, I mean, get forward with the reading, because that will explain why. And the actions that you took were, interestingly enough, Four of Cups and Queen of Wands, which is telling me that if you look at this person, he does look frustrated, but it's representing you, pile one, for me. And it's like you, like, purposefully, you took time out purposefully to be aware of how it, like, you are trying to figure out a vessel, but you are so confused with the probably artifacts, or not the artifacts, but the artistry or the decoration of each of the vessel, that yes, they might be interesting, but still it's not the one that you want. So you are recognizing what were recognizing, or have been taking actions on recognizing what kind of success, what kind of, it's the energy of success and beauty and glamour, but it's not like glamour in the sense of you want fame. It's the sense of the beauty or the glamour in relationships. But it's, I mean, I'm not able to find an alternate. It's not even about not being able to find, but it is about glamour actually. Maybe it's the way people view physical beauty, or just beauty of connections, or how things should be shiny, and recognizing that, is glamour even required, or is it for some other purpose? There is this part of magic called glamour magic, and um, contrary to popular understanding, I would say, of glamour magic was to essentially shapeshift, I would say, but not shapeshift exactly, but hide yourself away, or not be represented in your truest sense. So I I wonder if you took time out to recognize how you were being hidden within connections, especially emotionally, or your desires or wishes or your wants and needs were, just thrown to the side burner or kept at the back burner, whatever that is. Like that phrase I'm saying is what I mean to say, but more so like really demeaning sometimes what your wishes were, and that's probably what was happening in relationships. So it was not a comfortable right recognizing this, but the more you kept yourself in this energy, and especially I feel like you must have been bored out of your wits also in this, because it required a lot of quiet time, a lot of self reflection. So you were getting irritated by probably the time it was taking, yet you emerged, or I wouldn't just say emerged, but you recognized or came home to the queen of wands that you are. Such prowess, such elegance, and such strength is there in this queen of wands. Maybe some of you connected with dragons, or are familiar, or do like dragons, or you have dragon spirit as your one of your guides, and even cats, but truly recognizing the gift that you are. That's what has happened through the process. And the failure, the fear that you had, the fear that you had, if the relationship would fail or not, is what has been transforming. I perceive that your creative energy, in the sense that your creative thinking must have been overused in you creating scenarios in your head that were too dramatic or too exhausting, and you would overcompensate for that because you imagined certain things. And I'm not saying that your intuition was off, but overly thinking negative about certain things, which may or may not have been true, and that too I feel like was exhausting your energy. But these steps that you took, especially probably aligning with a routine that's boring, that is simple, so that you have the time and space to sit with these thoughts of yours, these experiences of yours, and recognize even the nook and cranny of every relationship, every experience, and recognize again. I'm using that word, but it's a lot of recognizing, acknowledging of really sabotaging behavior. Because how have you how have you transformed, or what transformation has it created? We have two cards, and both of those cards are about really new beginnings and endings as well, and it's the world and the wheel of fortune. That's a double down on that energy. I was about to say double line, but not. But it's a double down on that energy. It's a double down on changes. The world in itself is the end of a cycle. Wheel of fortune is the wheel. It keeps moving. It is expansion as well. So yes, I do perceive that while one you experienced a lot of wisdom, a lot of changes through this, you have certainly mastered understanding what your emotional wellness is, how it works for you, what's your unique recipe of emotional well-being. You have mastered that awareness for sure, and not just like mastered mentally, but you have mastered how to create that for yourself in physical reality. And a lot of it does feel like connection with your spirit guides, ancestors, a lot of alone time, because that's when this got created. With the world and the wheel of fortune, I do perceive that your physical appearance might be changing a lot as well, or you're diligently working on changing it, expanding it in the sense of expanding more well-being for your physical body, really focusing on what creates ease for your body. And this is not being pressured into eating right, but you are willing to do it because you recognize how much it creates, the abundance that it creates for you. And it's the richness in health that really drives this idea within you, more than wanting to look good. So I mean, everyone wants to look good. That's There is no denial about that and nothing wrong with it. But for you, I do perceive this to be more about richness in health, richness in feeling home at your in your body itself. And how are people perceiving it? We have really interesting cards here. We have the Two of Cups and Ten of Swords. So what that tells me is that you might, like I said, you might have, through this transformation that has been happening, you might have ended partnerships, business partnerships, friendships, or transformed them, or created really clear strong boundaries. One is that. The other thing is, people are definitely perceiving this to be, you are filling your own cup now, you are tending to your own joy, and this has certainly raised your value in some way, shape, or form. People look up to you. There is definitely that energy. And with Ten of Swords, you have worked on, creating ease after going through betrayal, defeats, deceitful experiences, is what I'm receiving. Like, Ten of Swords has not stopped you from growing. Pile one, that people are recognizing that, especially emotionally, it has not stopped you from feeling fulfilled. So isn't that awesome? You are, I don't think people can put words to it. Maybe some of them can, because this is very energetic. But with the Two of Cups, what I'm receiving is that people are actually recognizing that you are energetically aligning your feminine and masculine energy both. You are aligning your intuition, your action taking, and you're changing the world. You're changing your own world, and it is very evident. This, I mean, I feel like this reading was for you, because we have double the energy of transformation, or the transformation having occurred, or the cycle ending. So pile number one, I'm going to pull one last card as an encouraging message from source. Let's see what shows up. I'm doing pulling this from Botanical Inspirations. I'm not going to take this, but it flew out, so let's just consider the card. It's called Daffodil, Rebirth and New Beginnings. Like I said, new beginnings are often disguised as painful endings, which is what you went through. I feel like that really describes your entire reading in one sentence. And it's the quote is by Lao Tzu. All right, so let me just pull one encouraging message from source for you. We have yellow rose. So that was also yellow, that daffodil. Enthusiasm and friendship. A single rose can be my garden, a single friend my world. Leo Buscaglia, or Buscaglia. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But what that tells me is, like I said, you have really filtered out a lot of stuff with the Two of Cups and Ten of Swords here, and you have filtered out the people that you have given access to in your life, and especially access to your emotional energy, because yours is such a potent energy, and the intention majorly that you have with your own energy is to care for others. So now you are very mindful about who you spend that energy with. And because you've been mindful, I feel like you're feeling very flourished, unlike before, which was, feeling trapped. And flourished in all senses, like practically, because this is a Ten of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, so that's practical energy too, or physical world energy as well. And we have prosperity and compassion at the bottom of the deck. It says, but prosperity depends more on wanting what you have than on having what you want. That's what you're recognizing, your inherent gifts, the inherent gift that you are, the innate gifts that you have. And that has led you to have pour more into connections that you already have, because you're caring for yourself already. So pile one, I'm just going to repeat that line again. A single rose can be my garden, a single friend my world. So I do feel like you have filtered out friends a lot, and you may just have a friend or two, or maybe a little more than that, but just that's the number of people who have access to you, and that has been creating a lot of enthusiasm within you as well, I perceive, because you're now able to direct all that energy which you were focusing more on creating ease in, probably relationships that were not meant for you. and now you're focusing that energy into yourself, creating a better connection even with yourself, because this single friend could be you yourself, recognizing the best friend that you are towards yourself. Towards yourself or to yourself. So, pile number one, that is all that I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. I hope that this was helpful in some way, shape, or form. Do share your thoughts in the comment section below, and I hope to see you in future readings. Bye bye. Hi, pile number two. If you chose the second pile, which is the image of what looks like a jasmine flower, but I'm not too sure if it is jasmine, but it's a white flower. And the image, I guess I had taken that in the morning, and it's just very interesting. It's basically like you are taking time out through the day for yourself, and it's most likely the wee hours. The time could be early wee hours or the early morning hours, or the late night hours where nobody is paying attention to you, or there are not a lot of people awake and doing a lot of things, so you have a lot of time focused on yourself. There's a hyper focus on working on yourself and growing. That's what I'm getting from that image. And growing at your own pace, not wanting to hurry this process, letting yourself have that grace through this motion forward, or through this growth. Now, looking at what cards you have, the first two cards that are showing us what's like the energy that probably triggered or inspired this transformation, or the transformation that you are going through. We have change and envy, really powerful cards here. And it's just interesting, the cards that I've got for you in different places are the same cards that a lot of them are the same cards I got for the first pile as well. So very interesting. There might be some connection with this first file for you. I wouldn't say necessarily, but yeah, there's some intermingling energies here. But I mean, going beyond that, moving forward, we have change. It says, I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. Envy, I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. So I feel like this awareness was within you about the NB card, and especially the statement that things are taking a longer time, or are moving slower for you. So that might have created a discomfort, a comparison within your head. But more than that, the energy that I'm receiving is the environment around you, the people around you, and this necessarily doesn't have to be just personal connections, where I mean, it very well could be personal connections, but it feels like every person in your life, be it professionally or personally, you took the step to move out essentially from those connections, or really create very strong boundaries and take the times for yourself, take out time for yourself. Because with the envy card, what I'm receiving is that you understood that people were envious of you, or were not necessarily your well wishers, and were not sending you good energy, and you recognize that now it's time to cut this off, clear the crap. um, Really speaking your truth, and even if it's not speaking your truth, but standing in your truth and recognizing that these connections are not helping me, they are not wanting me to grow. That's also something that must have crossed your mind, is what I'm receiving. And so with this 10 of swords, these two cards are representing the actions you took. So you took the action of moving away from this toxic connection or environment where you were being backstabbed time and again. Like, this was not just a one time event. I feel like this was happening in a loop, in cycles. So even when I feel like, if this is just an example, so it may apply, may not apply, but do understand the energy of this example. And so with the 10 of swords and the wheel of fortune here, I don't perceive this person to be you or even the universe. What it feels like is, when you wanted to move out of saying this person does not feel like the universe or even you. It feels like when you wanted to get out of that toxic situation, maybe it's a toxic work environment, you wanted to resign from, as I was saying, or wanting to say that I was about to quote an example. So that's an example. Like, you wanted to get out of a toxic work situation, or maybe just resign from that toxic workplace. So with this wheel of fortune, what I'm receiving is that maybe your senior, or the person who would grant you the last step to get out of that situation or get out of the job after receiving your application was like, showing you these examples. Maybe you can do this, maybe you can, because it's pointing towards work from home. That's a specific example I'm getting, like work from home, we don't mind, but don't resign. That's the kind of energy I'm getting. But you're like, no, I know that this workplace, this career, this pathway is not going to work for me, so I have to leave. So they were trying to manipulate even till the last breath, or I wouldn't say the last breath, but the last moment that you were there in that situation, right? So that's what I'm receiving. Like when you wanted to even move out of this toxic connection, I was like, wow. I was getting that you might have faced, terms and conditions, or just for some of you, I'm getting the word even warnings from these people to not leave because it won't be good for you and stuff like that. So, like threatening in a way. So, that may be applicable for some of you. And this makes sense because we have the Emperor card at the bottom of the deck. So, this could be someone older than you. Maybe this is about family as well, someone who's like a parent or a grandfather figure, or somebody who is very like it's just their say that goes in the family. Someone like that, someone in authority for sure. Doesn't have to be family. Very well, for me it does feel like, career. So somebody at your workplace. So but then you were like, no, I am choosing what I want to do, how I want to go do, how I want to do something, or where I want to go. You took that step, and like you took that stance for yourself. You stood your ground, you were very firm. And it's just interesting. I was so the other four cards that we have here, we have the Queen of Wands and the Four of Cups, which is what I said was, there for pile one. And even these two cards were there, Wheel of Fortune and Ten of Swords, just different places. And we have Ten of Pentacles, sorry, Eight of Pentacles and the Tower card. So before getting on to those, the other two cards, Queen of Wands and the Four of Cups, are representing what transition is it creating, and that's the next question. But I somehow, with this example, want to go into this question, which is the Tower and the Eight of Pentacles, and that's representing how people are receiving this change in you or the transformation in you. Literally, the Tower card. It's a shocking change that you have gone through, or the change, the step that you must have taken. People might have assumed that it was like a not so well thought of and a very impulsive choice, but no, clearly you worked a lot on this choice. You have taken and given time to this choice, taken time to think about it, and given time for this choice to even grow, I would say, and see how it works out for you or not. And you clearly recognize that this is not letting you grow. So you took that abrupt choice and broke down the foundation that was false for you. And that is how people are receiving it. They are receiving it as an abrupt change. And with the Eight of Pentacles, they do see that um, you know where you are going, even if it feels very impulsive for them. Like what skills to apply, and they see you as a skilled worker as well. So that's what, I'm getting a lot of work energy here, because we have health, humor, and shame. And I do perceive that a lot of people, you guys might have been having really bad health because of these experiences, because you were not trying to, but you were probably being suppressed a lot and not being asked to change. So not change, but you didn't you couldn't change what you wanted to change. You were not given that permission, and also you were not being given the opportunity to speak for yourself, is what I'm getting. And I feel like if you shared anything with humor and blame, I feel like people, there was a lot of backhanded compliment energy I'm getting, demeaning you, and passing unnecessary comments, sarcasm, stuff like that is what I am receiving at the expense of what you shared. And if there was any issue that was probably somebody else's fault, I do feel like it was pinned upon you, falsely blaming you. So clearly, very toxic environment or energy that you have been moving out of now. And I feel like not just people pinning it on you, maybe because people pinning wrong accusations onto you has happened so much growing up for you. Maybe this is about gaslighting as well. Growing up, that you falsely took on other people's responsibility and the responsibility of the mistakes they made. This happens very well when I feel like it comes to the dynamics of parents and children. So, children feeling guilty about the change in the mood of their parent figure, but that is a whole lot of it's a different story in itself and a different study, I guess, because it is about not having parents who know how to handle their emotions. So but then the child takes it upon themselves, feeling that they are the reason that their parents are not feeling good, and so they compensate a lot. So this must have been for some of you an experience growing up, and that must have leaked into other connections, be it platonic or formal or personal connections. Now, what transition is it creating? The Queen of Wands in this deck, she is so magnificent. Her power or her energy is so bright and big, is what I'm receiving, especially with the cat, because the cat is not just the cat. We have the lion and the panther. Extremely powerful. And with the Four of Cups, it's not giving me the traditional Four of Cups energy, which is, boredom, apathy. It's more like shut out the entire world, listen to your own voice. That's the energy I'm receiving, which is a Four of Swords energy, to be honest. And we do have that in a way here at the bottom deck, and well, at the bottom of this deck, which is behind the Emperor. This is the Four of Swords. So it's like you have been taking time out to clear your emotional waters, your emotional energy. And with the White Lotus and everything being a little, I mean, the white color being significant here is giving me a lot about calmness, peace, purposefully creating that for yourself. And now it's becoming second nature for you. Like, you don't have to forcefully create this. You began that journey with intent, with, with practicing, doing that every day. But now it's becoming second nature for you, which is really, there is this tower or a blast of your own energy happening, receiving your own magic, your own greatness, your own talent, your own, recognizing your own powers, especially emotional. I feel like emotional manifestation or manifesting through emotions is something that you might be recognizing, even if it's not that you are really getting good at tempering your emotions and channeling them in a very, very good or productive way. And this in turn is increasing your confidence like no one's business. It's this confidence is a confidence that will last for a really long time. Like, this is not the source or the foundation of this confidence cannot be broken, because this is created from within. See, I was talking about meditation and I didn't notice it earlier, but she has all these chakras. So you might be doing chakra meditation, because even with change and envy, the colors it is reminding me is of the solar plexus and the sacral chakra. So you might be working a lot on your chakras very intently. So maybe even working on your diet in some way, shape, or form. And I mean, the change, which was to just leave behind this toxic environment, is creating so much for you. Pile 2, I feel like even you must not have expected how many changes you were creating in your own life. You've taken the decision to move away from things that unnecessarily creates decision making issues for you. And that issue is not because of lack of information, but it's because of people's like external energy messing with you. And now you are like, I'm going to listen to what's being said here in my head, what I'm listening to from my guides. Now I'm going to pull just one last card as an encouraging message from source. We have Sweet Pea, blissful pleasure. So Daffodil did come up for the first pile, and it says rebirth and new beginnings. Like I said, there are similarities here. New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. Ten of Swords energy. Lao Tzu. And now we have Sweet Pea. It says blissful pleasure. Follow your bliss, and the universe will open doors where there were only walls. Joseph Campbell. So that tells me, I mean, this is truly an encouraging message from source, isn't it? Because you are following your bliss, you are just listening to your voice now, and whenever other people's voice come up, you are taking the stand and being the queen of wands and eradicating or transmuting that energy, with fire being the element here, transmuting that energy into your own strength. And the lion and the panther is giving you both light and dark energy and a balance there. So using your strength to recognize the light that you are. The source is also encouraging that because of your own intention to find and follow your bliss, you are creating opportunities where people might have thought that it was not possible. They are stunned with the rapid growth or even the abrupt changes that have happened in their eyes, but they were very calculated, very thought of in your own eyes, right? And it's creating major transformations in your life. Pile number two. So, pile two, that is all that I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video. I hope that this was helpful in some way, shape, or form. Do share your thoughts in the comment section below, and I hope to see you in future readings. Bye bye. Hi, pile number three. If you chose the third image, which is actually an image I had selected for, I was doing a photography course, and to complete my book with a cover, and I was very intentional. Well, all of us were intentional with it, and this was the image I chose for the cover of my photo book or portfolio, whatever you may want to call it. And I really like the sky that day. I mean, this image is from way before I had chosen it to be the cover page or the cover for my photo book. But I, of course, edited it, and that's why the sky looks the way it does. Or not the sky, but the color of the sky, and it's like a muted blue. So what I'm receiving is that, and especially all the branches of the tree that has been dried out, you've been working on really minute things and working very diligently on it, but it's such a subdued thing. Probably for the outer world it's not very visible as to what you are doing. That's what I'm receiving. And even with the blue color, it's like people are getting to listen to or receive just bits and pieces of what you might have been working on, whereas you've been working on a multitude of things, and especially shedding what doesn't serve you, shedding what doesn't help you grow. That's the energy I'm getting from the image. So that probably must have been the transformation you have been going through, and I feel like maybe intentionally you are doing it in hiding, because many a times I believe that we should go through transformation with just ourselves and not let people know, because it's not about just evil eye, but their fears might try to ruin our journey. And not just I mean, may not be intentional, but you could be individually a person who takes a lot of you take a lot of tension or you get anxious, because we literally have that card here, although the question for that is different, but we still have that card of Nine of Swords. And in any way, shape, or form, it actually is getting represented in the cards that we have here for you, which represents the question as to what was the energy. The what was in is in inverted commas. So that what was energy about this transformation that has been taking place for you, or taking place, yeah, or the transformation that you intended to have. So for that we have courage and trust, and this literally tells me most of you, I feel, you took that choice, you made that choice that you want to create changes, you want to be courageous, be very thoughtful with what you do, and trust your choices, right? We have trust here. And courageous, because I feel like some of these choices must have been choices that you may not have had the permission to experience earlier, like the benefits of those choices, or just not even the benefits, but what that choice might create because of what you may have learned around you. But you are like, enough of this, enough of living in such an exhausted way, restricting yourself, not expanding in your own prowess, in your own strengths. And really, I feel like, you are tempering your speed of receiving information also very intentionally, and you must have been working on that to not get overwhelmed, to not get into this Nine of Swords energy. So you've been, and we literally have the Six of Pentacles been behind it. So you've been very intentional with the fact that it comes in bits and pieces for you, whatever information you receive, even if it is, because for this pile, I do feel like you guys are healers, most of you. So you may be in the profession also, in this business as well, or even if not, generally I do feel like you may recognize that your energy is, potent in terms of healing others, and just you being who you are, and with a person you're like sitting next to them, you recognize that, that other person starts feeling better. And so, because that already happens, you might have restricted yourself from making choices that were for the well being of who you are and your body, even because we have balance, and beneath that, we have envy and health. So, I feel like, no, in order to not create envy and to have balance, or to not rock the boat, essentially you may not have had the courage to make choices where you are like, this is it, this is enough, this is what I would like, what I wouldn't like to do in any connection or in just conversations at least. So that is what, not doing that is what triggered this transformation, and trusting that the choices that you make, the changes that you create, is going to create greater for you, and you know the best, nobody else, you know what's best for you. So you've been learning to do that, the action that you took towards it. For that, we have the Page of Wands and the Star card. So, with the Page of Wands, what I'm receiving is that you've given yourself the permission to explore a lot of fun things you used to do as a child, or you enjoyed doing as a child, or you wanted to do as a child, but you did not get the time to, or you couldn't do it without judgment, is what I'm receiving, or without feeling that, am I doing this right or not? Should I share this with the world or not? Now it's like, nothing doing, not looking at anybody else's advice or their comments or their compliments, whatever it is, like negative, positive, both aspects. You are like nothing doing, just do what's fun for you. And I feel like it's a lot of connection with nature as well, with animals as well. This could be related to singing, dancing, any creative pursuits, painting as well. Maybe even figuring out what kind of clothes you like to wear, wearing them, having fun with that. Because the Page of Wands here, these stockings, or I wonder if it's stockings or slacks or whatever it is, but it's reminding me of this movie which is so beautiful. I've read the book as well, it's called Me Before You, and the female lead is gifted bumblebee stocking, sorry, pair of stockings by the male lead in the movie and even in the book. So it's reminding me of that energy. So you are tapping into that chirpy, quirky, fun energy of yours to change from this, because these are things you like to do, right? So that's increasing your confidence in yourself, making you more courageous, in the sense that you don't give a F or an F about anybody judging you for the fun, quirky things you do. And because it's something you like to do, so that's making it easier for you to not take the judgments personally as well. And with the Star card, this is literally tapping into your own beautiful healing capacities, and not just tapping into it in terms of helping others, but also using your own healing capacities to heal your own heart. And I don't know why people might have mixed views about it. This is just my perspective, and I'm not trying to say that you should use it all for yourself, but not using it for yourself is also a denial of your own gift, isn't it, in some way, shape, or form? So I do perceive that you are learning to heal, or use your own healing capacity to heal your own mind, so to speak, and it's making you really clear in your head, because we have the King of Swords and the Five of Pentacles, as which is representing what is this transformation creating. And with King of Swords, what I'm receiving is that initially I was getting a little confused, because was it representing society or somebody else? Then for a minute, when I meditated on this energy, what I received was, with the King of Swords, it's you, pile 3, that you are this person who's become very clear in their mind space. Especially you are able to see everything from a broader perspective. You are able to see things that really light up your soul, because this coin here, which is not even like, I mean, a pentacle thing, I mean, the pentacle deck would have coins technically, but this is the star tarot, so it's very different in its imagery. And with this disc here, it's reminding me of the sun disc, and I think it's the sun disc. So the sun is the core of our soul energy, right? How we are experiencing this life. That's how I perceive the sun energy. And also our ego. So there is a requirement for us to create a healthy ego. I'm not asking you to be egoistic, but to have a healthy ego is to stand up for yourself when you know that things are being done incorrectly or there's injustice, or to recognize what you really want. If you are like, oh, I'll just go with what everyone wants, what is it? Then you're not identifying, right? You are not identifying what is true for you. So sun is identity. So with the King of Swords here, that's what this transition is creating for you, pile 3. You are identifying your prowess, your strength, and we literally have the king, which is the topmost of all the court cards, and with the swords energy, clear about your vision, clear about what your beliefs are, clear about what you want to do, what you do not want to do, clear about what helps your mental health. There is a lot of clarity that this transformation is creating for you. And it's interesting that we have the 5 of Pentacles here, but the representation here is telling me that this is a big change in the sense that pile 3, you are overcoming an abandonment wound, is what I'm receiving. You're abandoning abandonment. You're learning to release this wound and be there for yourself. Some of you, I do feel like there's a strong energy of you adopting a pet or getting closer in your connection with animals, because that's being repeated a lot here. And yeah, okay. So let me just get to the other cards first, because I'm getting a lot of information. That's what you're learning to. I don't know if synthesize is the right word, but so I'm not going to use it. But you're learning to compartmentalize the information that comes through to you, because with the King of Swords and the way the star is represented here, maybe some of you have psychic, you are psychic, but more than that, I am receiving that some of you might be mediums or channels as well. So you probably channel a lot of the time, so that must have created this fear within you. What if you stand up in your own true power, in terms of the fact that you channel people's energy, in not intentionally, that it's more like you receive what people are thinking and how exhausted they are mentally. So if you draw a boundary and not listen to their problems, will that create envy? Will that create issues between you and this person, whoever it may be? So now that is changing, because you're giving yourself the permission to ground the information first, because look at how she is receiving from the heavens or higher consciousness, and now she is moving that energy into the water or to the planet, right? So that is what you are doing. You are grounding the information that you are receiving, and that's how you're healing yourself, pile 3. And that is why probably you are able to move on from this abandonment issue, which is what I was trying to complete at that time. And then we have the 8 of Pentacles and the Hanged One as the card representing how the world or the people around you are seeing these changes. They are certainly seeing this as a change, in the sense that you are very, 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 very skilled with your intuition. You are receiving your intuitive insights quite well, very clearly. And I do feel like many people might be looking up to you with the Hanged One here, someone who is very well versed with spirituality, or at least receiving the right information is what I'm receiving. Very ethical with the 8 of Pentacles, quite there's a Saturn driven energy, and there is a sequence in the energy, there's a proper system in the energy, and that is what people are receiving this as. These changes that are happening within you, people are able to logically somehow do 1 + 1 = 2 kind of energy. That's what they're receiving. Like logical, they're able to logicalize or materialize through logic the changes that are happening for you. And in the terms of, probably because the insights that you are giving don't seem too far-fetched, it could be that you are giving them practical advice. And even if it's not just advice, I do feel like this is somebody, people are receiving this as someone who has worked a lot in creating ease for themselves, especially worked a lot on their spirituality, or worked a lot through spiritual practices, yeah, and created, really created a, it's, I'm not getting a standstill energy, but more so like a pause, a difference in and perspective about life, and enlightenment energy. So you have worked a lot, and worked hard on enlightening yourself. That is another way people are receiving this, especially with the Nine of Swords at the bottom of the deck. I feel like if people are receiving this as something that was giving you a lot of anxiety, maybe even creating self-sabotaging tendencies within you, and people are receiving this as the change that they are seeing, they are receiving this as something that you have mastered. I mean, mastered receiving energies for yourself. And I do feel like for a lot of you this could be spiritual practices. So they, and that they, and people are also receiving that you have mastered not getting into unnecessary anxiousness or tension. uh, you've created a real balance here with the Six of Pentacles. So you must have created boundaries as well. You might not be giving out a lot of information. Like I said, you are doing this process or healing process in hiding sorts, right? But they are seeing the effects of it, and they are seeing you as someone who's spiritually very advanced or learned, yeah, and skilled. So, yeah, pile number 3. Now I'm going to pull just one last card as a message of encouragement from Source for you. Okay. We have Gloxinia, Love at First Sight and Proud Spirit. And the bottom deck energy is immersion and intuition, false indigo. What does it say? When you reach the end of what you should know, you will be at the beginning of what you should sense. Khalil Gibran. So like that's what, you have advanced so much in your awareness that you know about this. You are not cocky about your intuition, about what you receive. You are very grounded in your approach. Yeah, that's probably what I was trying to say when it came to how people are receiving this energy of yours, or this change in you. And with the Love at First Sight and Proud Spirit, it says, when I saw you, I fell in love, and you smiled because you knew. William Shakespeare. I'm just going to give this as an encouraging message from Source. So if probably some of you are looking for love, maybe that this is a green light for some of you. And other than that, what I'm receiving is that you learning to abandon abandonment issues is helping you look at yourself in the mirror and smile at yourself, and know that that smile is coming from grace, from gratitude, from love, from a balanced perspective. So wow, I'm getting goosebumps, so that's a double confirmation. So yeah, pile 3, that's how Source wants to encourage you to look at yourself first, be proud of who you are, and fall in love with yourself. This is not at all to promote narcissism, but to value the gift that you are and extend that to others in your best capacity. So thank you, Pile 3. That is all that I have for you. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that this was helpful in some way, shape, or form. Do share your thoughts in the comment section below. And I hope to see you in future readings. Bye-bye.